Hi guys, Brant here, and I thought today I was going to do a funny little, sketch intro like I usually do. Make a fun little video about the Blood Moon event. Make a hoop and holler about it, be like, these parts are good and these parts are bad. And, overall I think it's okay, but, these are some things you got to look out for. But yeah, we weren't allowed to have that. We weren't allowed to have fun and happiness with the Blood Moon event, or, well, the thing that is parading around in the Blood event skin like one of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers alien creatures, or the thing is a much better analogy, pretending to be one of our crew but is actually the alien thing. Yeah, that this Blood Moon event is not the Blood Moon event, is the test drive for the long formed concept that we've had, that gens go kind of fast and they're also kind of boring, right? So in order to fix this, we should do two things. We should make the gens slower, but we're not going to do it slower just by nerfing the time. We're going to actually have it to where there is a side objective that you have to go get and then run all the way back to put into the gen, like a gear or a part of the gen, something like that. That way the gens will be slower, but also more fun because there's more gameplay involved, right? So instead of getting the Blood Moon event, which was fun last year, we're getting a beta of this separate adjustment to generators to have an extra step of gameplay. However, let me make this abundantly clear. After playing it for a little bit over 5 hours today, this alternate version of generators misses the mark in every possible way that it could. And genuinely, I am never playing this mode until new challenges come out. Just do those challenges, immediately never go play it again. I am going to stick on 4v1 most of the time that this thing is out, because it is quite literally abysmal. There are so many issues and problems with this, and I just needed to rant about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This Blood Moon event is just a complete failure. It is just a failure from the top to the bottom. In what world? In what world, everybody watching this on YouTube, down in the comments below, in what world, answer me, would we ever decide to add faster generators to the game, but take away gen regression entirely? In what world would we ever do that? Just hearing that out loud, you'd be like, well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we ever do that? Gens already still feel kind of fast, especially when aided by perks, items, and add-ons. Like, it still can be pretty rough sometimes, and I still feel like I'm required to run Slowdown to have a lot of chill games, just so I can last a little while. Yeah, well, you would be right, fair viewer, that yeah, that is the state of the game right now. So why would we make a separate mode where we have these generators that we can use the alternate objective to go grab them, do them quicker, and overall have quicker gen times, but also completely remove the ability to have any sort of gen defense? Yeah, if you guys have not played the event today somehow, yeah, you heard me right. I'm not kidding. All forms of gen defense do not work at all on the Blood Moon gens for whatever reason. So you run Surge, you run Pop, you run Pain Res, none of that works at all whatsoever. None of that works. So why, pray tell, if two survivors can go fill up the little jug of kerosene, run over to the generator and just glug on that gen and get it done in 20 seconds, do I have literally nothing I can do on the killer side to defend myself and stop them from happening? This is even about winning, right? Because it's a casual funny mode, hee hee ha ha beta, just to test something out. But I would like my games to last longer than like 4 minutes. I would like to have a full match of Dead by Daylight, thank you very much. Apparently that's too much to ask. And for those of you saying just kick the Blood Moon gens, because the way that the kerosene works, where you just dump it in and it just auto fills it up, it's not like you have to sit on the gen and actually work out the 5%. Kicking the gens just dry just to do the 5% basically does nothing and is removed even quicker than it is in the normal mode. And you may be saying, like, Brant, why don't you just go play somebody like Pig that is like built-in Slowdown? That's where I stop you, because if you somehow have missed this, killer powers that have anything to do with generators do not function in this mode. Yeah, even tiny things like Freddy's teleport or Houndmaster's little snug dash where he patrols up and locks onto a gen, yeah, that doesn't work here. And that extends up until Pig's hats. I had somebody that was running Pig today and was under the impression that, like, hey, if I can't damage gens with perks, at least I can run a character that has basic hit slowdown. Wrong. Wrong, incorrect. You cannot do that either. So if you're somebody who at least at base kit has good slowdown to the gens, you can't play those guys either. You cannot do it. You cannot play those guys either. Again, it's to the point where even any sort of perk that works with gens that isn't slowdown is also affected. Coup doesn't work. Fire up doesn't work. You are only going to be getting one use of fire up and coup because you can only do 4 blood generators. You still have to do one of the normal generators at some point along that line. So you're only going to be in 1 stack of fire up, 2 stacks of coup the entire game. The entire game. So now the meta here, there's already a meta in the hee-ha-ha mode already. Woo, is go do a gen. Go do one of the normal gens, like the base gens that are in 4v1. Get that done quickly, because after you get the base gen done, then you can just do the quicker gens and just mow through the rest of the game. It's like brainlessly easy now to win this mode on Survivor. And it's funny because I played Survivor on this mode a little bit today too, because I did all of my challenges. How have killers responded to this? By only running the S tier killers in the game. they are only playing Nurse, Blight, Kaneki. They are only playing like top 5 killers in the game now, because they realize if they don't have a movement option or just immense chase pressure, they're going to lose the game. They have to run somebody who's super powerful and super strong so they can have the ability to stand a better chance of winning. So Survivor games are interesting as well, because you're constantly facing some of the best killers in the game. But at least the benefit to Survivor is you have a lot of meta perks that don't have anything to do with gens. You have exhaustion perks like Balance, Lie, Dramaturgy, Finesse. You have a lot of really good healing perks too. So you running meta just means you have to omit the deja vu. You got to omit the prove thyself, but you still have most of your meta, unlike killer, where their meta is just kind of like shot in the leg and left to bleed out. So yeah, generally I don't know what they were thinking. And I had talked with on my stream with Reaper, Field Agent Reaper, the Pinhead player, very, very good friend on our stream. I love him to death. Talking about how this is supposed to be a beta just for them to test out this mode, right? And you guys shouldn't be, he didn't say this, but like, you shouldn't be too harsh on them because it's just a beta mode and they're just trying out. I will say this, I'm not saying this to be mean or disrespectful. I've had very good talks with like Jocelyn and people that behavior very, very kind to me. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but this feels like this isn't done. This feels like this mode is not finished, because literally all it takes is like something simple. Like, hey, dry kicks do more to Blood Moon gens. If the gens are going to be faster, for the Blood Moon gens in particular, and they're going to go like fly like hotcakes, then have my kicks mean more on those specific gens, because it would make sense too, because they're not actually generators. They're just a little baby gen with just like a pool of blood. What if I could just like tip that shit over? Just like, that would make more sense, because then it's more of like this kind of like sudden death gameplay if you're trying to go the route of the Blood Moon gens, whereas the normal gens are more stable. Like the killer's dry kick won't do as much to those, so it's more safe to go for those. But if you want to do the risky gameplay, you go glug 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 on the thing. And it just also feels like it's not finished because killers don't have anything to do. The Blood Moon event has no killer activities. The only thing killers can do in the Blood Moon event is kick over a canister of survivors left on the ground, which they almost never do. And what does that get? And what does kicking a blood canister over do for you? Just some extra blood points. That's it. All that does. Remember how we had like anniversary events where like there were like party pallets and like killer endurance and cool stuff like that? You guys remember that? I do. Yeah, this event has literally nothing for killer. There is no special ability or special anything for killer whatsoever. It's like I said, it just feels like a very, very half-baked mode. It feels like they got to the point where it was functioning, like it was able to be played. And after they got to the point where it was being played, they're just like, oh, okay, let's test this out live. Let's just send it, right? And neglected the fact that, hey, the killer side of this mode is nothing. It's literally nothing. You just have to deal with faster gens with no gen defense and no extra fun abilities or aspects to the gameplay cycle. That makes the game fun for you. I would be very, very surprised if by this time next week the killer or the queues on the Blood Moon event are terrible for Survivor. because I don't see people playing this for more than a week. Obviously there's challenges, so anytime the challenges drop, people will go back to them, but I genuinely don't see killers putting up with this. Unless you're playing like somebody like Sadako or Singularity who can like force them to hold something, because holding the jugs counts as a special item or whatever. So your special item would be taken by a tape or an EMP wand. But outside of those killers, I don't see other killers playing this event mode. Also, I'm sure you guys wanted to hear me talk about this as a Xenomorph main. Yeah, this is yet again another one of those events where, because just like everything and your mother is spawning around, that yeah, if you play somebody with a killer prop like control stations, TVs on Sadako, plague fountains, those are all over the place. I had plenty of dead zones today, and I'll be the first one to tell you that, like, yeah, the whole like chess move around killer props thing is a little over exaggerated in how much it messes up your games. Definitely during events where a bunch of extra props are spawning for the event props, it's definitely bad. So I guess for the whole duration of the event, if you play one of those killers that has a prop, you're just double host. And the behavior has said themselves, hey, this is not a bug, this is intentional, and we don't plan to fix it. So yeah, that's just the way it is. Excellent. I don't know, man. Overall, I think this blood, you know what hurts the most? You know what hurts the most is that the Blood Moon event that happened last year, it's pretty all right. I don't think it was ridiculously fun, but it had some funny stuff like Myers with like like Coup and like flying down hallways with the extra lunge, or Survivors had that little bit of like stealth aspect gameplay, which isn't fun to face all the time, but it's fun to do to the killer. It's like there was so much more active gameplay happening in the previous event, and that made Blood Moon at the very least unoffensive, in a lot of cases fun. And we just like lost that. We lost the Blood Moon event just to slap this secondary objective beta over it that is half cooked and nowhere near close to done. So I think it's just sad that we lost something so great just to test out something that just is only finished for one side right now and not even close to done. I really hope at some point during this event they do update it and they give killers some sort of way to defend themselves against people that have figured out that all you have to do is one normal gen and they just slam the rest of the blood gens because there's nothing you can do to really stop them from happening. I really hope they add some sort of defense with that, whether that be, like I said, making kicks worth more on Blood Moon gens so they could at least try to patrol those in between when they're being filled up. And that will inspire more people. I'll inspire more people to not perhaps play like the S tier top 5 killers consistently, so survivors can have a better time too. Also, I don't know what you do, but it's really lame that so many killers just don't have part of their power. That feels so bad. Imagine being a plague main and you just don't have part of your power. I know that one person that also makes a lot of videos about like the killer prop thing in general, JC Glitchmaster, I think that's his name. I've watched a few of their videos. I know they're going to be livid because they already hate events or the fact that the killer props get shifted around. But now Sadako, who they love, is also being bodied because their TV spawns are going to be all over the place. Thankfully, like I said, Sadako makes you hold the tape so they won't have the canister, but also like you're not going to have the macro pressure. Your homie's going to be livid probably. Yeah, what did you guys think of the Blood Moon event day one? Did you find it as frustrating as I did the longer I played it? That's a funny thing too, is like initially when I was playing, I'm like, maybe I'm just having some bad games. Maybe it's just me. I was like really trying to not be super negative and be like, okay, I'm trying to see the perspective here. I'm trying to see the vision over and over and over. But all around, I'm like my 12th game, I'm like, okay, dude, this is just pain. This is just pain. Why do they just get faster gens and I just get shit? Why do I get nothing? Why do they get all this stuff and I don't get a single thing? Why am I here? What am I doing? Like, oh man. Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think it's fun, or are you like me where you're like, this feels kind of unfinished, and as a result, it feels kind of painful? Let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, that's it for today's video. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Hopefully you could laugh a little bit at my rant. If not, I will have a chance to make your day a little bit better in the next video. I still got that Xeno add-on tier list I got to make. I've been doing a little bit more testing with that, but I think I've got that mostly figured out. But if I don't see you then, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.